Hey guys, JH, welcome to Practice Tee. Okay, today I got my buddy Stuart Williams. Hey Stewie, how are you, buddy?
Hey John, good to see you again.
Stewie's an ex-touring pro and teaching pro, and he's been working on this. You saw him recently on that first video we've done, and I've just left him alone, and he's gone off, and he's a studious type guy, and he's basically just asked for some little pointers, and he's gone off and worked them himself. And he's come back today. So what are we talking? A couple of weeks?
Yeah, it was just before Christmas because I went to Sydney during Christmas, and so that's what, 3 weeks.
Yeah. And so he's just come along today, and he's just hit a few shots for me and said, "How am I going, JH?" And guys, so I thought, well, we've got to put this on video because he's going exceptionally well, and the ball flight that he's getting, the power he's getting is fantastic. And okay guys, now he's a pro golfer, and he's a disciplined individual. So, and I made this point before, this is how you progress, and how you progress well. You have to have the discipline. You can't come out and just hit balls for the sake of hitting balls. Just think about what you're doing, hit a couple of balls, walk away, sit down, have a talk, but when you see the shot's not quite right, try and intellectualize why it's not right and work on that aspect.
Yeah.
And all we've done with Stuart today is we've just emphasized a little bit of the angularity of the lead foot, in that we've actually had it almost pointing, probably 70 degrees. And I said, Stuart, the reason we do that is that will create this type of what we call rear drive. You can actually drive as you start down. You can drive, and that'll give us our secondary tilt, and it'll help us with the throwaway. And he's just incorporated that little facet today into, and we've changed the ball position, haven't we, Stu?
Yep.
He was struggling a little bit because the ball position was up a bit, and I've said to guys, we've really got to bring the ball back because we can't reach it. I mean, and if we set up normally with this containment here, and we've got a ball up here, the only way we can get to is we've got to open the shoulders. Now, we never want to open the shoulders. We want to work out how to get to the ball with the shoulders still closed and the trail arm in that position there. Now, whatever that ball position happens to be, guys, that's the one you need for this swing. Now, Stewie's been hitting it unbelievably well, and I just thought we had a big storm last night, and we do a weather forecast. I told you yesterday it was just almost nuclear reactor heat. Well, today it's early in the day, but it's still very hot, and the humidity is coming out. So we want to do this quick and stop from meltdown.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to get so Stu, just tell me what you're feeling in terms of the evolution so far.
Well, I have to say, John, it's probably one of the hardest things I've ever had to do in my golf career, to make this type of change, because I've always been such a late hitter, big lag late hitter. And that when you do that, you tend to swing the club quickly, and I've never been able to, as much as my teacher from way back, Alex Mercer, as much as he used to stand over in front of me with a club and threaten to hit me on the head if I didn't slow down. Which
he did with Steve Elkington.
Yeah. But I've never been able to do it, and the reason is because of anxiety. I've never been able to put the club in the right position to be able to swing the club slow enough. But now, with all the stuff you've been telling me and what I've been trying to do, like hold off, get nice and closed at the dress, which feels great to me now because I feel I've got the room here, and I feel I can swing the club slowly enough here.
Well, that's interesting. So you've got room back here now.
I've got
room back here, guys, not there, here.
I've got lots of room.
Yeah, back here.
And if I start to go off a little bit, it's because I get a little bit less closed. And so as soon as I move back, bang, it comes into position again straight away.
Well, can we just extrapolate a little bit on that? And you're saying you've got lots of room in here. Invariably, guys, you will hear the term used in today's teaching of a player getting stuck. You don't want to you don't want to whip the club in here, and you don't want to be here because you'll be stuck.
Yeah.
Now we're advocating that, and I think, and I've said before, that I think that the greatest example of someone being stuck was Ben Hogan. Ben Hogan was more stuck than anyone else that's ever played the game, and he was in this position back here and came from in here.
Yes.
So there's a lot of you know, terminology out there that really can point you in the wrong direction, because Stuart's saying you've got a lot of space this way. Now if he was stuck, he wouldn't have space that way.
Yeah. And it's basically that space that's given me the ability to swing the club at the pace I need to swing it at.
Yep.
So I'm not rushed anywhere anymore.
Not at all.
I've still got a bit of lag going, I know for sure. And
yeah, but that'll go.
That's going.
Yeah, it is going. Yeah.
You know, I just got to get this going a lot sooner.
Yeah.
And time that with this.
Yeah. Well, this has got to be in your mind coming down. There's an ignition move for the backswing with all of us, and then the downswing there's got to be an ignition move. Yeah. And for you as a thought process, and I think for all of the guys, you've got to feel that this is the ignition move down. Because look what happens, guys. If I go here and I do nothing else but fire that, this arm drops back in here and the shoulder stays. The shoulder goes down. This one comes up. So we're shut to shut. But that happens because of this. Yeah. So if you can actually address, just pre-program a little bit of that. Now the other thing that's made a hell of a difference with Stuart's ball position, we've moved it back. Yeah. And the other thing that's given him, you know, ever since I've known him, the one thing I've always noticed with Stuart is that he's over the ball, comes in here, and then he's gone. His ignition move was just lightning. And I said that to him a couple of weeks ago. We've got to eliminate that quick ignition move here, because a quick ignition move will be a knock-on effect to a quick downswing. So what he's done, and you're talking about a guy that hit millions of golf shots with his old swing, but in 2 weeks he's completely eliminated his old ignition move, which was here go. He's in now, the club's actually almost dormant. He gets in here and it's almost stopped, and he's done that. So guys, you can do it, and that's made such a difference to the golf swing.
It has, yeah. Okay, so
we'll just hit a few, Stu.
See if I can do it, John. So the thing I've really had to concentrate to keep this arm in here, I think you refer to it as the gunslinger action, and I keep that, and I walk in to get the correct ball position. I keep this open, and then I turn my shoulder back this way.
And you're programming that leg early.
So now you can actually see the club swing going backwards, which you couldn't before. Yeah. Because I was much quicker than that. Yeah. But the one thing that I've found I have to do to get this, I feel that I have to keep this straight and sort of hinge around here. That's the feeling. Absolutely. Yeah. And I've got to get that and this going at the same time. So this really starts it, if I get that combination, it's just pure. Well, this here, what you're talking about here, Stuart, and the guys, it all comes back to what we said initially. Remember we talked about the trebuchet catapult. It comes in here, where it actually comes to here, stops, and then the rope with the basket on it with the rock, and it goes. Well, this is your trebuchet lever. It comes here and it stays straight, and then we fire past it. There's our trebuchet lever. There's our catapult lever here. Absolutely. Yeah. And Stuart's evolved that and found that out by himself. Yep. Well, let's give it a go. Okay. See what happens. There's that angle. Okay. That's perfect. Yep, that's okay. So I get into here, get close. Now I need to work on this, get in the pre-swing. Now guys, he's just absolutely killed it, and of course what we're seeing now, Stuart's divots before, when he had the forward ball position, were onto the ball and going hard left. They were actually a little bit on the ball, sort of over the ball. A good players, you know, trait. But now he's got a very definite into-out pattern on his divot. I'd say it's probably 5 degrees, 6 degrees into-out, which he never had before. So he's changed his attack path 6 degrees straight away with just that. At least. I'll give it another go. Yeah, hit a few, sir. Just come back a little bit so we can see the ball. Just don't go in front of that, because I cued you on a roundabout here. Oh, okay. Yeah. So yep. Yeah.
Good, good. Now key on the left leg.
More open there.
Yep.
Turn here.
It's just, now guys, what I was saying on that video yesterday, now you saw Stuart initially when he was learning, he was here because we were drilling, but we don't want to be there in a full swing. He's got now his normal golf swing velocity, and he's got the escape velocity, which is going to get him going here, but he's still up the line. He's not over here. He's firing that up the line. And I promise you guys, now Stuart's always been a really strong drawer of the golf ball with everything, because he's always released that way in a rotary fashion, but now I'd say that the chance of him hitting the ball left will be basically nil now. Yeah, he will not get that.
Yeah.
I mean, and to be able to hit a medium iron or something like that and hit it really dead straight with just a tiny little fade if you want, for someone like him who's always seen this ball flight, it's great.
Yeah.
That was great. Now the only thing I'd say is that we just need a little bit more commitment to the gunslinger. The gunslinger's actually almost got the gun out of the holster a little bit. You're a little bit out here, so we just need that in a little bit. Did you see the Chuck Berry? Did you see the Chuck Berry?
No.
No, I said they're the guy from Canada, Patrick Lamore. He came up with.
I'm sorry. Yes. I'm sorry.
He came up with this.
Yeah.
And I termed it the Chuck Berry.
Yeah.
So we've got the gunslinger and the Chuck Berry, but that's the feeling we want here.
Yeah.
So you could do a chuck or a gun or a wide earth.
So more here?
Yeah, I think you need to feel a little bit of this address and try and increase it a little bit, yeah. And don't overdo it. That's good. That's good. Oh, Stuart Williams. Let me shake the hand of a man that just hit a perfect golf shot. Yeah, guys, if you could see that, I mean, that is just...
Yeah,
how good is that? If you'd have had that 30 years ago, we probably wouldn't have heard of Greg Norman.
No, that's right. I'd have won a lot of tournaments. So.
We've never heard of Greg Norman. But well, Stuart, like everybody else, Martin Ayres is my buddy. Like Marty had a great conventional golf swing, one of the best I've ever seen. And Marty could go out and shoot lights out, and so could Stuart. But there would always be this thing would come in sometime when they least expected it, and just shut them down. I mean, you've been in Australian Opens when that's happened to you. I mean, he's played with Trevino, and so that happens in the conventional golf swing. But I promise you guys, it won't happen in this golf swing. And when you can see someone who is, you know, that the pros are elite players. Now, if they can get this to work, and they can overcome all the, you know, the traditional establishment dogma, then I think that augurs well for the swing being accepted as we go forward. Yeah. And I think for Stuart's always been a good driver of the golf ball, but he's always had that really strong draw. And of course, with the good player, you know, the strong draw turns into a real turnover, and it's
a snap hook.
Yeah.
And you're out of business.
Yeah. And it usually happens when you're 5 or 6 under. So
if you hook it off the tee, generally you have to be lucky to get out of it with the bogey.
Oh yeah,
generally.
Yeah.
But on average, it's going to be a double bogey.
Yeah. And usually most time it'll happen on the par 5s we're expecting to birdie, but because you're going for a little bit extra distance to knock it on for 2, it goes left and it's catch up.
Yeah.
And you watch that. The amount of pros that actually have 6s on par 5s when they should never do, like Gary Woodland and those type of guys, should never have them.
Yeah.
And it's because they're just stretching that little bit, and they can't rely on that ball flight.
Yeah, that's right.
So
all right then, John, thanks very much.
So mate,
really appreciate all that help.
Yeah, well, and of course the other thing is Stuart has been in fits with his pitching in the last couple of years, because he's been in, you know, doing conventional stuff, and he's just lost the feel for it. But I said to Stuart, you know, if you can actually feel that's happening in your pitch shots, which is completely the opposite of what we ever get taught.
I feel weird. I mean, doing it, I worked on it over Christmas time, and at Toga Lakes Golf Club, also known as Shelley Beach, where they have a really good putting green.
Yeah.
putting and chipping. I worked on that a lot, well, every day.
And you're knocking the paint off the flags, weren't you?
I was just shaking my head because I just couldn't believe how close I was hitting shots. It was just ridiculous. Yeah. And how many I holed. I mean, you were always talking about holding 1 in 6 or 1 in 10 or something. And I thought, well, how do you do that? Not many people can do that unless you're a McElroy or someone like that, Jordan Spieth. But I started to hole. I was using 6 balls, and it was amazing how many times I holed 1 out of 6. Yeah. I mean, I just couldn't believe it. Yeah. And,
well, this, Stuart, I mean, if you stood here all day and we had a flag over there and we had a ball here and we threw it to that flag, if I kept doing it, I could probably throw 1 out of 6 most of the time because it's this action. But if I'm here and I'm trying to jam a little pitch shot or a little chip shot and I'm trying to do that, I've got no chance because I've got manipulation. But here I've got nothing going on. And this rear axis, which is why I set up, a lot of guys set up forward axis and want to jam it and jump it. I can still jam it off a rear axis, but this is basically doing nothing. It's just here. I'm just doing this. There it is, and that's as simplistic as it is.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, mate, I think that's fantastic, and I just thought, Stewie doesn't come down all that often, but it was great for him to come down and give us an update. I reckon he's that far away from just going out and shooting lights out.
I think so.
Yeah.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I feel good about it.
Yeah. All right, mate. Thanks, Stewie.
All right.
Good to see you as always.